Hello and welcome to Yoga Basics. My name is Michelle Chua. For this practice, you'll want to have two yoga blocks, preferably the standard size. There's some skinnier ones, but these sort of maybe about 3 inches thickness and the narrow width. If you decide to get your own, and then a strap of some sort or some kind of rope-like object. And then you may want to also have a blanket or a beach towel that you can fold up to sit on more comfortably. So please find a comfortable way to sit. And I invite you to bring the legs out in front of you and to elevate your pelvis, whether on two blocks set like this on their lowest height, side by side, so you have a wide base to sit on, or on your folded blanket so you can adjust the height of it. By elevating your pelvis higher than your knees, if you're turning out the legs in front of you, sitting in some version of a cross-legged seat, it can help to relax the thighs open more easily so that your knees are not lifting up like this uncomfortably off the floor. So if for some reason your knees are lifting up, get even higher on your seat. You can even stack the blanket on top of your two blocks like this. So get creative with your props. You can use them in so many ways to have a more effective and non-stressful practice. So once you've set up the bottom of your body, see what feels comfortable for you as you're sitting in what's called easy pose. In Sanskrit, it's called Sukhasana. So whether you open the thighs wide or you cross the shins at the center of each, the latter requires more ability to turn out your thighs. So if you're not feeling very open in the thighs, you might do the first. And then make sure that you're able to sit up tall. Sit towards the front of your prop so that your pelvic bowl slightly tilts forward. And then gently pull in your lower belly and lift it up. So you're actively pressing the left and right sides of the bottom of your pelvis down to lift up through the center of your spine. And then let the shoulders roll a few times. You might circle them back and down. Lift up through the back of your skull so your eyes are directed at eye level. And then relax something. Notice if you've been tensing anything in your body, like even something small, like right between the eyebrows. Now let's begin. Here is a quote from Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who is known as the founder of positive psychology, and he coined the term flow state. You can Google him on TED Talks. He talks a lot about this. And he says that being in the state of flow is when you're completely involved in an activity for its own sake. The ego falls away, time flies, every action, movement, and thought follows inevitably from the previous one, like playing jazz. Your whole being is involved and you're using your skills to the utmost. So today we're going to continue breaking down how to flow or move your body to your regulated breath. And then we're going to actually come into a standing posture. So we're already starting to open up the hips by sitting in some sort of cross-legged position, which will help us later in our standing position. So Vinyasa flow, as I talked about last week, can be defined as moving to your breath. And Vinyasa in Sanskrit translates as to place in a special way. So we're not just moving randomly. Vinyasa flow is to place your body with intention, aligning the different parts of the body while connecting the pacing of that placement to your regulated breath, a sustained regulated breath. So let's begin by checking in, beginning with the outermost layers of your being. Maybe close the eyes and start to mentally scan your own physical body. Go wherever you feel any prominent sensation right now, including tightness or tension, or easefulness. And just visualizing throughout your body, just traveling your attention to notice without judging whatever sensations you're experiencing. So you can have an overall idea of your physical state as you begin your physical yoga or asana practice. Now let's go another layer deeper inward by noticing the breath. Don't worry about changing how you're breathing. Just pay more attention to whatever you can feel about your breathing. Noticing things like, does it feel easeful or strenuous? Is it shallow or deep? All of this is good information to know how you're feeling energetically. So we're tuning into your energy body. Now let's go another subtler layer inward and bring your awareness to your mind. For the next few moments, just observe whatever your attention is drawn to, the quality of your attention, like if you feel focused or unfocused. Even observe if there are any particular thoughts, patterning, repeating. And become curious how that's influencing the way you feel emotionally. What feels alive in you through emotion. So now we're gathering our mental and emotional states, and we'll do this check-in process at the end of the practice just to notice if anything feels different then. Now let's begin to invite a deeper inhalation as you inhale through your nose. Taking your time to fill up your lungs, we can feel the rib cage expand, and then through your lips, let it go slowly. Find the very bottom of the breath, and then allow an even slower, deeper, but relaxed breath in. Maybe even feel your stomach, placing your hands there, and notice how the breath is expanding in that region. You can also place your hands on the left and right walls of your rib cage. So just experiment, feel around your torso, maybe even the back of your torso, as you are inviting the breath to travel into more areas. Allow a couple more exhales out through your mouth. And if it feels releasing for you, maybe even sigh it out, make a loud sound if you can where you are. Ah. Ah. And as you join your hands together in front of your heart. So this is like a yoga pose for the hands. They're called mudras. And this particular mudra, as you might already know, is a gesture of gratitude. So evoking gratitude, but also it's a gesture of union. As you're intentionally bringing together your mind, your focus, your physical body's alignment, and your breathing, your spiritual awareness, all of that together in the practice of yoga, which means union. So what is something that you can truly appreciate right now at this moment? By cultivating gratitude, you help to empower yourself to a higher vibration. Now begin to decide what you want to focus on in this practice today. And this could be anything from a particular part of your body that needs loving attention to a particular aspect in your life in which you're calling in resolution or balance, or it could be a general quality of feeling that you would like to experience more of, like peace of mind or clarity. So decide on your intention. In Sanskrit, it's called sankalpa. And start to breathe as if that is already happening. It's not something you're reaching for in the future. So how would you breathe feeling that that is in place right now? As a way of remembering that we are part of a greater whole and setting aside the ego mind, I invite you to choose someone or a group, a community, or a cause that you care about to maybe dedicate today's practice to, like you're making an offering of your efforts. And as a way of sealing our intentions, placing our dedications out, and connecting with resonance with each other as community, I invite you to join me in chanting the sound of Om, which is actually a mantra which evokes interconnection, this unifying energy for all of us. So 3 ohms. And remember to pause, allow a silence after each, as that's part of it too. So inhale a little deeper. Bow in towards your heart center, just acknowledging guidance within. Remembering to honor how you're feeling in any given moment of this practice. If you're needing to slow down or take pauses to rest, please take care of yourself and do so. We're going to begin lying down on our backs. So please come all the way down to the floor. And as you're lying down, just let the legs stretch out like corpse pose. And if you're needing some support for your lower back, you can use your blanket and roll it up so it's more of a cylinder pillow, and place it right underneath the backs of your knees. And we're going to begin our breath awareness and setting the pace of the breath here, lying down in corpse pose. So as you're lying down, just feel the back of your body, including the torso, making contact with the ground. Observe the curvature of your spine and the parts of your spine that are touching the ground and the parts of your spine that are not touching the ground. Just becoming more attuned with your own body's alignments, its natural alignment. Observe your left shoulder and your right shoulder and notice how much weight each rests on the ground. So feeling into the symmetry or non-symmetry of your body. Feel the weight of the back of your left hip, the back of your right hip, and notice if they feel equally rooted or if one feels lifted from the ground. So we're not doing this to judge our bodies as good or bad. We're just really becoming more aware. So notice how that comes up when we're standing later. Now, as you relax your body, maybe close the eyes. We're going to start to placing your hands on your belly. We're going to start to breathe into the belly and then invite the breath to rise up into your side ribs. So go ahead from the stomach, slide your hands to the left and right walls of your rib cage. And then we'll lift the breath up to the chest. So go ahead and place your hands where your collarbones meet. Almost like 3-part breathing, but we're not going to pause as we breathe. So start with your hands in your belly, and I'm going to count to 5 as we breathe in. And then I'm going to count down from 5 as we breathe out. So we're trying to fill up belly, side ribs, chest. You pace yourself and move your hands along as you're breathing. And then placing the hands to the stomach. When you're exhaling, feel the belly soften as you breathe out. As you do this, I invite you, if you can, to close your lips. So you're just breathing through your nose. This will help us to warm up the body and prepare it for movement. At the same time, gently narrow or softly constrict the back of your throat so that as you're breathing, you can listen to a very smooth and subtle whispering sound to your breath. So we're already beginning a practice called Ujjayi Pranayama. It means victorious breathing. It is a skillful way to regulate your nervous system to a state of calm, preparing your body by warming it up and helping to steady your mind by creating a sound you can focus on. So start with your hands in your belly. Prepare by emptying this breath, closing the lips. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Slide the hands to the ribcage. 4, 5 to the chest. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going. Count on your own mentally and tune into the sound that you're creating as you breathe through your nose. Invite that sound to be smooth, sustained, and very soft and gentle. So really focusing on stretching the breath and pacing yourself. Now, as you continue to create that sound, start to bend your knees together towards your chest and begin to rock gently side to side, just softly massaging your lower back into the floor. Now, as we've transitioned in posture, notice the breath. Try to keep the same pace that you can listen to. Straighten the left leg to the floor. Keep hugging the right knee towards your chest. And now circle your right foot at the ankle. Keep the breath pace going. Switch direction. Straighten the right leg to the floor. Bend your left knee into your chest. And circle the left foot at the ankle. Use the sound of your breathing to invite your mind into a feeling state of flow. Switch directions. And one more time, gather your knees to your chest, but this time rock forward and back a few times. Forward and back, where you start to build enough momentum to eventually sit up again. And once you're sitting up, come down to your hands and knees, all fours. Set your fingers wide and flat where your index fingers are pointing straight forward or slightly turned out. Stack your shoulders on top of your wrists. Then step your knees about 2 inches behind your hips. Now listen to this breath and exhale completely. Cat-cow pose. As you inhale, glide your torso forward. Keep the arms straight. Roll the shoulders back. Lift your chest. Look up. Cow pose. Exhaling for 5, 4. Contract the belly. 3. Drop the head. 2. Round the back. 1. Cat pose. Inhale. 1. 2, lift the chest forward, 3, 4, look up, 5, exhale, 5, 4, rounding the back, 3, 2, 1. Take 2 more cycles of breath in Vinyasa, which is Sanskrit for cat-cow pose. So initiate with the in-breath or the out-breath and follow through with the movement. Let the whole movement last the length of the in-breath or the out-breath. Now from here, bring the inner edges of your feet together to touch. Sit all the way down to your heels. Your knees can be together or as wide apart as it's comfortable for you. Let's extend the arms forward in a more active version of child's pose. This is balasana in Sanskrit. So as you're reaching the arms forward, keep your arms straight so you're not resting the elbows on the floor. We're keeping that active stretching through the sides of the torso by doing this. So imagine that your fingers are trying to reach for something that's way in front of your mat. So keep reaching. At the same time, keep sinking the pelvis back. Notice your breath. Now, if anytime during this practice, you might feel like I'm telling you too many things or asking you to pay attention to too many alignment things in your body, simplify and come back to the sound of the breath. Let regulating your breathing be the most important part. Even if it means just stopping the movement and sitting down and breathing, that's still yoga. So from here, slide your hands towards your knees where you can roll the spine upright and very slowly come on up to stand at the top of your mat, placing your blocks about a foot in front of your feet. So your blocks are on their tallest height, shoulders width apart, and your feet are your hips distance or wider apart. Now, if you think that your blocks are too low when we reach down to place the hands in them, if you have additional blocks or something you can place the blocks on, you can make them even higher. So get creative with your props as you might need. So just take a look at your toes and spread them like a fan and point your second toes straight forward so they're parallel to each other. Use that as your reference point for paralleling your feet. Now spread your toes on the ground and press your big toe mounds, your pinky toe mounds, and the center of each heel equally into the floor. As you're actively pressing down, feel your leg muscles awaken, muscles activate. Stack your shin bones on top of the center of each heel. Lift your frontal hip bones as much as you're lifting the 2 bony bones at the top of the back of your pelvis right here. So they're equally the same distance from the floor. And then relax your shoulders down, broadening your chest. Lift through the back of your skull and rest your arms by your sides with your palms facing your thighs. This is called mountain pose, or in Sanskrit, Tadasana. Allow a few breaths here. Keep actively pressing through the tripod of big toe, pinky toe, and center heel of each foot while lifting up through the back of your skull. We're going to use this as a reference point later, so feel this. And now let's begin our sun salutation C. We're going to break down so you remember the postures that are within it. And then on the second time, we're going to move 1 breath each posture. And then we're going to do it a couple more times after that, getting into a flow state. Remember, it's getting into that state where you're not trying to think about too many things. So focus more on the breath and following the breath with your body. So here we are, bring your hands together at your heart as this is the starting position for all of the sun salutations. It's called Padasana, hands in prayer in mountain pose. Exhale this breath out, beginning sun salutation C. Inhale, sweep your arms forward and up, gaze up. Exhale, let's bend the knees as we're warming up, tilt your weight forward, and with a feeling of a flat back, bow. Press your fingertips on the floor beside your heels. Now, if it's too low,
You can place the blocks there, and remember the blocks can be 3 different heights. So use the height that allows you to plant the hands down easily and step your left knee behind you, entering a kneeling lunge, also called Anjaneyasana. In this version of a kneeling lunge, let's keep the hands down because we're going to transition very soon. Make sure that your front knee is right on top of the heel. It's not in front of the heel like this, which can cause too much pressure in the knee. And that your legs are as wide apart as your hips. Now, as you keep the hands down, gaze up and relax your shoulders. Inhale here and exhale. Keep the breath pace going. Now set the blocks aside if you're using them and place your hands and knees on the floor. Let's come into a kneeling version of plank where your fingers are spread flat, index fingers are pointing forward, shoulders on top of wrists, hips on top of knees. Now activate the belly here. Pull it in and lengthen the crown of your head forward. Coming into Ashtangasana, glide your chest forward, bend your elbows back so they hug your side ribs. Keep the shoulders back away from the neck and start to lower your chest first. So you're sticking your tailbone up, but you're engaging the belly here. So the belly's not relaxed. You're lifting the shoulders back. Your chin comes to the floor and you're looking forward. This is a back bend. Now on your next inhalation, slide forward so you land on your belly with your legs flat, and you'll have your heels of your palms aligned beside your floating ribs. Just by sliding forward, you're already prepared for cobra pose. So make sure that you're pressing all of your toenails flat on the floor. You're actively grounding the tops of your feet to help stabilize your lower back in this back bend. Keep the pelvis on the ground and hug the elbows towards your ribs. As you breathe in, roll your shoulder bones behind you just slightly. We're not trying to find the highest lift of the chest here. We're more looking for length, like there's a string pulling your middle of your chest towards the front of your room, not towards the ceiling. Keep stretching through the legs and pressing the tops of the feet down. Another breath in, broadening your chest. Now, as you exhale, press down through hands and knees, tuck your toes behind you, and lift your hips all the way back, as far back as you can. Now, if it's helpful, bend your knees if that helps you to pull the hips further back and to really relax the neck. Spread your fingers flat on the floor. How is your breath? This is downward facing dog. Now, inhale, bend the left knee forward and step the foot beside your left thumb. If it doesn't make it all the way there, you could, as you lower the right knee, use your left hand and grab the left ankle and place the foot forward. Remember, you don't want the front knee to be in front of the heel like this. That's too much pressure in the knee. You just want the heel to be right on top or right under the knee. Either your hands are on blocks or on the floor in your kneeling lunge again. Back toes are tucked for easy transition. In your kneeling lunge, keep the hands down and inhale, look up. Exhale, step your right foot forward beside the left. So your feet are hips distance apart. Press down to your feet, bend your knees here as we're warming up, and inhale slowly to the breath. Rise and lift the arms overhead, gaze up. Exhaling, bring your hands together slowly in front of your heart center. All right, so those are the postures. Now we're going to take the second side and one breath each movement. Not rushing, but slowing down the breath like when we were counting to 5 in and out. You let the movement follow the breath. Let's give it a try. Hands together in prayer, Padasana. Exhale this breath. Inhale, sweep your arms forward and up. Look up. Exhale, bend the knees and bow slowly to the breath. Hands on blocks or the floor. Inhale, step the right knee behind you. Kneeling lunge, gaze up. Keep the hands down. Hold your breath Place hands and knees down for plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, chest, then chin. Hug the elbows in, pull in the belly. Inhale, slide forward. Tops of the feet press down. Cobra, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest slightly. Exhale, press the hands down, tuck your toes, lift the hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot forward beside your right thumb. Lower the left knee and gaze up. Hands on blocks or the floor. Exhale, step the left foot forward and bow. Press to your feet. Inhale, sweep the arms as you're rising slowly to the breath. Take your time. Exhale, bring your hands slowly together at your heart. Let's keep going on each side. Sun salutation C. Inhale, sweep the arms forward and up. Exhale, bow forward. Hands on blocks or the floor. Inhale, step left knee back, kneeling lunge, gaze up. Hold your breath, come down to hands and knees in plank. Exhale with knees down, lower chest, hug the elbows in, chin, stick the tailbone up. Inhale, slide forward to the ground. Ground the tops of the feet and lift the chest slightly, cobra pose. Exhale, press through hands and knees, tuck your toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot forward beside the left thumb. Lower the right knee, hands on blocks or the floor, look up. Exhale, step the right foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, follow your breath to the top. Exhale, slowly bring the hands to meet at your heart. One more, second side. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, look up. Follow the exhale all the way down to a forward fold. Hands on blocks of the floor. Inhale, step right knee back, gaze up, kneeling lunge. Hold your breath as you come down to hands and knees in plank. Exhale, lower chest. Chin, stick the tailbone up, engage the abdomen. Inhale, slide forward, roll the shoulders back to cobra, ground the tops of your feet. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot forward beside your right thumb. Lower your left knee, hands on blocks or the floor, look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rising all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Just pause here for a moment, maybe close your eyes for a few breaths. Notice anything you're feeling in your body. Notice the quality of your breathing that you can hear. Stay aware of the sound of your breathing as you continue that gentle whisper. As we take the 2 blocks and we're going to start in a standing posture. Now, if you have a clear walled space that you can spread out like this and lean against, you may like to stand by a wall. This is actually not a wall, but I'll pretend it is. And as you are there, take your blocks with you. And if you're not there, that's fine. You can do it without a wall. We're going to prepare for triangle pose, but start by opening your arms wide apart and stepping your feet pretty much right under your wrists. So a pretty wide stance. You can always shorten the stance if it feels like it's throwing you off balance. And let's put the blocks in between the wall and your calves. So the wall is, or the block is on its tallest height, right behind your calves. Now, I'm not going to mirror you here, so just listen carefully. Find your right hip, and from the hip socket, rotate your entire right leg and foot to turn out 90 degrees. So that's facing the short edge of your mat if you're not at the wall. Now find your left hip, and from there, rotate your entire left leg all the way down to the foot inward, internally, 45 degrees. So both sets of toes are facing the same short edge of your mat. Now, line up the center of your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Center the right heel to the arch of the left foot. Try to press down equal weight through both of your feet. So your spine is vertical, centered between your feet as you open the arms. Now, as you press your feet down, your chest is facing the wide width of your mat. It's not turned at an angle. It's completely flat facing the wide width. So as you open your arms, your wrists are stacked above your ankles. Now, inhale, press down to your feet and lift the arms and try to feel the sides of your torso get a little higher, but relax your shoulders down. So you're just promoting length in the spine. Exhale, open your arms, palms face down, and look at your right knee. Bend just your right knee right on top of the right heel, not in front of it, just on top of it. Inhale, press to the feet, straighten the right leg, raise your arms, get a little taller through your spine. Exhale again, look at your right knee, bend it just over the heel, open the arms, palms face down. This is a vinyasa flow. Listen to your breath. Inhale, lift up. Use the full inhalation. Exhale, bend the right knee, open the arms. 2 more. Inhale, lift and straighten. Exhale, open up, bend the right knee. 1 more. Inhale, lift and straighten. Exhale, bend just the right knee and open the arms. Now we're going to stay here for a few breaths. This is called Warrior 2. Now, your gaze is important, where you place your visual focus. So look at something just in front of your right fingertips. It could be your right fingertips. Steady your eyes on one focal point. This is a way to promote concentration. As you're being still in the posture, we're going to be here for about 4 more breaths. Feel your arms reach wide. So even though we're still, we're not just kind of stagnant. We're continuing to lengthen through the line across your arms, lengthen through your tailbone, your spine, your crown. Lengthen through the breath. 1 more deep breath. Now straighten your right leg, raise your arms again, and keep the leg straight, open the arms. Now we're going to enter triangle pose. Now you have blocks there in between the wall, if you're using a wall, and your calf. So this is going to be a little tricky leaning against the wall, but let's see what happens. So root down evenly through your feet. Slide your pelvis sideways towards your back foot, which is your left heel, as your right arm stretches forward like you're touching something on the horizontal plane, way past your right toes. Now, the reason for this pulling back of the hips and this reaching forward of the torso is to avoid this, shortcutting this right side of your torso. You want to elongate by creating these 2 contrasting actions. And as you're elongating, now, when you can't reach any further, lower your right hand and see where it lands easily. Does it land on your right thigh, your right shin, or on the block? Making sure the block is right up against your right leg. The block has 3 different heights too, so you can decide what height works for you where you're not struggling to breathe or to hold the posture. Also, you don't want to feel like you're collapsing all your weight down through that right hand. You want to feel like you can lift a finger more if you want. Left arm is straight up, so you're making that long line across the arms again. The gaze, if it feels okay on your neck, is up towards the left thumb. If it doesn't feel okay, either look forward or look down towards the right big toe. Just important that you set a gaze. Okay, this is triangle pose. We've got 3 more breaths. Now, as you're holding still, keep pulling the pelvis back in the direction of your left foot. Keep lengthening the torso forward. Open up wide across the arms. 1 more deep breath. The Sanskrit word of this pose is Trikonasana. And the wall could be where you lean back with that left shoulder. So you're finding a little bit of a twist, rotating the chest slightly towards the sky where you can still balance. Now, as you press your feet down, inhale, rise up, keep the blocks there, parallel your feet, still the feet wide apart, about as wide apart as you can spread the hands. Let's start in a neutral position and we'll get into the other side. From your left hip socket, turn out or externally rotate your left leg 90 degrees to face the opposite short edge of your mat. Turn in the right leg 45 degrees. Align the center of your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Heel to arch alignment. Press evenly through both feet and inhale, raise your arms. Chest is facing the wide width of the mat. Exhale, bend your left knee, look at it, and make sure it only bends on top of the heel, not in front of it. Opening the arms, press through the feet, inhale, straighten the left leg, and raise your arms. Look at the left knee, exhale, bend it just over the heel, and open the arms. Let's keep going, 4 more breaths. Now treat it like a vinyasa flow and listen to the breath. Use the entire exhalation to bend the left knee and open the arms completely. Inhale, slowly lifting up. Use the entire breath. Exhale, bending the left knee, opening the arms. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bend. And now let's stay here in Warrior 2. In Sanskrit, this posture is called Virabhadrasana 2. Virabhadrasana is warrior. Now set your gaze, or drishti in Sanskrit, on one spot just past your left fingertips, maybe right at your left fingertips. Listen to the quality of your breath. So we're holding still, but internally you want to feel energy moving. You're actively reaching wide across the arms. You're bending the front knee, pressing the outer edge of the right foot into the floor. You're lifting up through the center of your spine, but relaxing your shoulders. Again, if it feels like too much information, just concentrate on your breath. 1 more breath. Now press through both feet. Inhale, straighten the left leg, raise your arms, get tall through the spine, but relax the shoulders. Keep your legs straight. Open the arms as you breathe out. Palms face down. Let's enter triangle pose. Sideways, slide your pelvis towards your right heel or in that direction and reach forward with the left hand. So you're not reaching down, you're reaching forward as far as you can. So feel the contrast. This left hip draws towards the opposite short edge of the mat, and this left hand reaches towards the other short edge of the mat. When you can't reach anymore, then place the left hand where it will land. Maybe it's the left thigh, not on the knee, because you don't want to push the knee back. Maybe it's the shin, or maybe it's on a block that is directly under your shoulder. Now, as you raise the right arm, see that your arms are creating one straight line. If they're not, adjust where your bottom hand is so that you can. And then direct your gaze onto one focal point. Maybe it's up at one spot past the right thumb. Maybe it's forward. Maybe it's down at your left big toe. Choose one and listen to 3 more breaths. Focus on the sound of your breathing. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Press down to your feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. And then from here, parallel your feet so that you can easily heel toe them, close together again. And let's come on down to sit. So those standing poses that we did are actually what would be classified as hip openers, though it's a very ambiguous term, hip openers, but they turn out the thighs at the hips. So let's get into the opposite, which is turning them into a seated twist. So as you are keeping your left leg straight in front of you, and you're stepping the right foot on the floor in front of your right hip, hold your right knee or shin with your hands, flex your left foot, curl the toes back towards the shin, and root down your 2 sitting bones at the bottom of your pelvis to lift your spine as tall as you can. If your spine wants to round like this, it makes it difficult to breathe. Take your folded blanket and sit towards the front edge of it. Make it as thick as you need, or your 2 blocks. Now let's place the right hand on the ground behind your pelvis. Keep flexing the left foot. And with every part of your body that's touching the surface below, press the surface below and inhale, lengthen the spine even taller. Shoulders relaxed. Exhale, turn your chest to the right. Again, press the surface below. Inhale, lengthen up to the crown of your head. This right knee stays pointing up. Exhale, keep twisting. And then continue with that for another 3 breaths. So it's like a mini vinyasa flow. You're doing something with each part of the breath. The inhale, you're pressing down and lifting up. Even if you don't visibly see that you're twisting more, you're feeling it internally. The energy is going in that direction. Now, as you breathe out, unwind the spine. And let's drop the right knee open. Bring the sole of your right foot high up against your inner left thigh. We're going to come into a seated forward fold called Janu Shirshasana, or head to knee pose. Take your strap. If it has a loop on it, you can adjust the loop so that it fits the ball of your left foot like this. If it doesn't have a loop, you can just step in the middle of the foot into it and you hold the 2 ends of the strap. Whichever one, hold the strap with 2 hands and kick into it with your left foot. So you're still flexing, but you're pulling the strap away with your hands and your foot. So it's taut. Now, roll your shoulders slightly behind the ears and then press them down. Press your pelvis down and lengthen up from the bottom of your spine, breathing in. Notice this natural space between chin and chest. Try to maintain that like you're holding an apple here. Then from your hips, not at your neck, exhale, start to hinge forward. Pause where you are. Elongate the spine by pressing the pelvis down as you breathe in. Exhale from the hips. If available, fold another little bit. It's like a vinyasa flow. Within each posture or active posture, not yin or restorative, you're using each part of the breath to invite movement or energy flow. So like little vinyasa flows. Now as you press your hips down, inhale, start to lift the chest, remove the strap, and let's prepare for the seated twist on the other side. Straighten your right leg forward, flex the right foot, step the left foot on the ground in front of the left hip and hold your shin. Press your pelvis down firmly and inhale, lift up through the center of your spine. Even your left foot is pressing down. Left hand behind the pelvis. Exhale, begin to turn your chest to the left. Press the pelvis down, inhale, lift up. Exhale, keep the pelvis still, but turn the chest. Even if it's not visibly turning, direct it there. So again, like a mini vinyasa flow, breath by breath, exploring your range of motion in your spinal twist. Spinal twists can be helpful in releasing tension along your spine and stimulating your digestive organs as you're sort of wringing out the region of the belly. Help to awaken energy flow through your chakras or main energy centers, especially around solar plexus, sacral. Exhale, unwind. Now open the left thigh and bring the sole of the left foot high up against your inner right thigh and step the ball of your right foot either into the loop or center of the strap. Hold the strap with 2 hands and kick the foot against the strap as you pull the strap. Roll your shoulders behind you and down and sit up a little taller by pressing your body down and lifting through the back of the skull. Breathe in, not from the neck, but from the hips. Exhale, hinge forward just a tiny bit. Pause, press down and lengthen through the spine as you breathe in. Exhale, if available, fold another little bit. So keep vinyasa flowing into whatever your range of motion is, where you can maintain this natural space between chin and chest, and your shoulders are relaxed away from your neck. The back is not rounding like a turtle like this, but instead the chest is slightly lifted, like there's a string pulling your sternum slightly up and forward. All of that to promote deep, even breathing. As you press your pelvis down, begin to lift your chest. Inhale to slowly rise. Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose. So now let's find a comfortable way to sit. We're going to practice a grounding, relaxing breathing technique before we come into corpse pose, and about a minute in meditation. So find a comfortable way for you to sit, maybe like the posture you started in. Using any props for support. You might find that your hips feel different right now, as we've done quite a few things with it. This practice is called box breathing, and it's very easy to remember. It can be helpful for relaxing in moments of stress, and it helps to regulate your nervous system. So it's closing the lips, breathing gently in and slowly through the nose, in and out. We'll inhale for a count of 4, hold the breath in for a count of 4. We'll exhale for a count of 4 and hold the breath out for a count of 4. That's one cycle. Let's try 3 cycles together and then 2 cycles on your own. So your hands, this is a grounding breathing technique. If you want to promote more of that feeling of grounding, you can place thumb and first fingers to touch like this, and the palms face down by the inner creases of your knees. So this is a grounding mudra. Again, mudras are like yoga poses for the hands that cultivate a certain energy. If it helps you to concentrate, you can close your eyes and visualize the breath going in and out. Or you can also steady your eyes on one focal point, relaxed gaze. Let's prepare to start by exhaling. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one together. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue 2 more cycles. Take your time to finish at your pace. When you do, let go of controlling the breath and just observe it and observe how you feel. And very gently start to lower your body to the floor. Excuse me, finding a way to lie down comfortably. You might like to have your folded blanket under the backs of your knees for lower back comfort. You might like to cover your eyes as you're closing your eyes, maybe with your strap or an eye pillow if you have one. And to help open up the fronts of the shoulders. You can rest the palms face down by your sides. Take a moment to invite a symmetrical feeling as much as you can along left and right shoulders, left and right hips, left and right feet. And continue to observe your breath just as it is, natural breath. We'll be here in Shavasana for a few minutes. Let your body rest in stillness a little longer, keeping your eyes closed like we did at the very beginning. I invite you to mentally scan your physical body and observe any sensations now. Sense how you feel physically and notice if anything feels different from the start. Now, keeping your nervous system in a calm space, try not to move abruptly. So just start to gently turn your head slowly, feel your neck. Begin to rub your thumbs across your fingertips. Notice your hands. Begin to wiggle your toes, feel your feet. And gradually start to move slowly other parts of the body, maybe circling your hands or raising the arms to stretch overhead. While keeping your eyes closed, begin to turn over slowly onto your right side, where you could rest your head on your right arm. Pause here for a moment. And now observe the breath as it is. Through it, observe how you feel energetically now. Has anything changed in this dimension? Take your time pressing your hands into the ground. Let your head be heavy as you're starting to lift your torso slowly upright. Finding a comfortable way to sit for a minute in meditation. Feel free to sit up on your props. Invite a tall spine, relaxed body, even grounding through your hips. And once again, you might place your hands in the mudra we practice for grounding, thumb and first finger touching, palms face down by the knees. Choose to close your eyes or steady a soft gaze at eye level in one spot. Continue to let your body breathe naturally. Locate in your body where it's most easy for you to observe the breath. Land your awareness there for 1 minute, concentrating on the breath. Now notice your mind. How does it feel now? Does it feel focused or calm or the opposite? Notice your emotional state. What feels alive in you now? Through your observation of how you are responding to your yoga practices, the different aspects of yoga, this is how you build strength in your practice, by connecting to your own direct experience. So maybe join the hands to meet at the heart. Come into the mudra that gestures gratitude and union. And what is one thing you can offer gratitude for? Remember to also appreciate yourself for following through with your practice today. Remind yourself what your intention was that you set at the beginning of this practice. Breathe in a little deeper. Feel that intention and existence now. Then remember to whom or what you chose to dedicate today's practice. You might imagine them receiving some form of benefit from your efforts here today. And together, like we open the practice, let's close by chanting Om 3 times. Inhale a little deeper. Bow in, honoring the light, the wisdom, the guidance and source within you. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.